Morning, everyone. Still getting set up at the last second, as usual. I have a little fun reading for us today that I have talked a little bit about in a previous video. I don't know how to describe that video quickly, so too bad, but I have read this story once before, and part of this story that I plan to share I've read once before. But I intended to do a lot more. I thought I saw the two there for a minute. I intended to do a lot more studying in this book by Hilma af Klint prior to now, but I haven't gotten to it. It kind of got pushed back. And this morning, I was first watching a video about Dion Fortune. I had not heard of her exact legacy before. And, well, I'm going to save her story for another time. I think this page will do for our plan today. So, Dion Fortune, somehow, even though she came after Hilma af Klint, and is different in viewpoint, I believe, though I'm understudied on both subjects at this point in time. Dion's, somehow, her story made me immediately say to myself that I needed to go pull out my Hilma book, and that was where I was going to find some good quotes for today. And sure enough, the first page that I picked had a great story to share with you. And it definitely has to do with potential, at least as I have handled the moments of intense pressure. I believe it's similar to what Hilma did, and not surprising to me, it has everything to do with intuition. And since it has been applying to my life in the last few days, I'm going to go ahead and begin with a little story about me. So, every year in this season, World Series of Poker season, this is a raffle ticket to win a seat in the World Series of Poker main event from the playing card company that made the playing cards for the event. And I got very excited when I got that ticket for free. They offered a free entry or free raffle ticket to anyone who sent a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I got super excited, of course, and sent my ticket in right away. As you may guess from the not that excited tone in my voice, I was not a winner. And this is one of those moments then that I have to keep believing in my potential all by myself, even when there is no logical reason to do so. Why do I need to keep doing this? Because for me, it is my spiritual journey. It is me believing in what I feel my intuition, my divine guidance told me to do a long time ago. So were I to stop believing that I should make it to the main event someday, then I would be denying my divine purpose as I see it. And I don't want to do that. It is my spiritual journey. Why would I want to do that? And that is actually, I did, everybody goes through dark times, and I had a very, very hard time in the last year-ish, and was struggling to keep believing. And that is when I came across Hilma af Klint. I had learned that also through YouTube, similarly to this morning. I learned about her and the fact that she met with 5 other ladies once a week, I believe it is. We will turn and confirm that in a minute. To do various spiritual practices, mediumship, etc., meditations, and then one person would draw the messages they received, shall we say. And their notes, group notes, were kept by Hilma, and she continued drawings and paintings later and continued the work, but always referencing the things that they had done together. And so this book, which I have right here, has reprints of the notebooks that they wrote. And to make a long story short, because I don't want to tell that story, there's a chance that the person who is now in control of her estate, her inheritances, can't come up with the correct word for that this morning. There's a chance they will take back these things and hide them from public view because they don't believe everyone should have access to this knowledge. Hilma did not necessarily believe that everyone should have access to this knowledge. So, so I got my hands on it as soon as possible. And the day that it came in the mail, I immediately turned to one of the things that I will share with you in a few. And it just really heavily spoke to me and renewed my desire and belief that I should keep on believing that I can achieve my potential, no matter what, no matter how much pressure is currently happening. And I can tell you from experience that this 2 of gloves represents a lot of pressure. But as the proverb says there, beggars can't be chooser. I said on Twitter this morning, is anyone awake? And are you feeling like a lump of coal that's trying to become a diamond? That is exactly the type of pressure that the 2 of clubs can put you under, and in my opinion. Thankfully, I'm not feeling quite that much pressure this morning. Personally, I am feeling under pressure. I do have probably double the responsibilities, I would say, now at the moment. I have an official freelance writing gig. Check out my Twitter or stay tuned to hear more about that some other time. And I'm working on what I'm going to do for my first articles, plural, for them. And I also have a lead on a new place to put out some of my jewelry. I have I make rings, necklaces, keychains, etc. You can check those out on my Etsy shop. And I have a new store here locally that has responded that they would like to put out some of my stuff. Yay! But all that at the same time is a lot of work. Nonetheless, that is, I'm, of course, going to do it. So this is the general plan for the day, though I believe I'm going to glue it down in a few. I'll do my reading for you first. And it's not going to stay without assistance, but the plan is to do a flower similar but different from what I'm about to show you. So, we are going to make, a flower and do these letters which I will tell you about in a minute. I seem to have, there it is. I thought I unmarked the page that I wanted, but here it is. Okay, so here's the thing about potential. Sometimes you just have to believe and do things, even when you don't know what the end result will be. And that's how I make my art a lot of the times, and I have followed that path in life. And now I'm going to tell you about how Hilma of Klint did the same sort of thing. When Hilma af Klint first began to work on the paintings for the temple, she did not know what she was about to depict, only that she was an instrument, and that, as such, her role was to remain as open as possible. Af Klint continued to receive the work in this way until 1908. Between 1908 and 1912, Af Klint devoted herself full-time to the care of her blind mother. In 1912, when she began to work again on the paintings that would complete the series, she found that her method of working had changed. Her hand was no longer led through the process of creation. She instead received the works, a combination of images, sounds, and words, fully formed. With this new method came a new freedom of interpretation. Yeah, I was going to read more, but I don't think you need that. But point being, she did not know where she was going when she started these works. I'm sure none of them knew exactly where they were going to 5 when they did these pictures in the notebook. And did you hear those years? This is the first years of the 1900s that they are drawing abstract images. No one did abstract. We didn't previously know until these images came out that anyone did abstract images until like much later. What are we saying, 1940s or something? But Hilma and friends were doing abstract images in 40 years before them. So this is a letter that I found the very first day that I found this book, and I found it extremely encouraging for my journey when I was feeling maximum pressure, and so I am reading it again for you today. And it came from these 4 loose leaf sheets that were found slipped into the notebook of the 5. And I always like to point out that it is not actually addressed to anyone. There's a date, and then they just start writing, and they go into the whole thing that I'm about to read you, and that's it. They don't know who they're writing to either. They're just doing what their intuition, what their divine guidance said to do, and allowing the potential to come out whenever. And so in 1903, they wrote me some very encouraging words. So, you are bewildered by what we have told you, but the phenomenon we are trying to explain is truly bewildering. What is this phenomenon, you ask? Well, beloved, it is that which we want to call the secret growing. How often have we heard you say that everything is futile, that nothing comes of all your labors? Yet, like amorphous buds, your endeavors sprout in all directions. You see everything as formless, and yet you forget that this is a sign of life. Gradually, the formlessness takes on more precise contours, and the steadily growing roots feed an ever stronger plant, which will one day explode with an abundance of leaves and flowers. You know this is so, but you must perceive this knowledge with such vividness that you dare to build on it. You have to feel with certainty that even the smallest effort to grow in goodness leaves a clear trace inside you. When you do not see an outer result, this must not discourage or tire you in your efforts. For just as invisible hands help and tend every plant on this green earth, so every budding sprout of goodness is tended and shaped and protected by invisible powers. And when the time comes, your eyes will open, and you too will see the beautiful plant that grew in secrecy, the product of your noble endeavors and your pure intentions. Accept our account as a greeting from us, so that you shall never tire when all seems lost. There you have it, people. That is what you need to do in Two of Clubs times, in my opinion. Just keep on believing and know that every little step that you take is helping you get in the right direction and is helping you make a flower. Ooh, shoot. I definitely accidentally unmarked our page here. And I do want to say something else about this flower that we are doing. Here we go. Okay. So I picked this to kind of imitate, and I will be putting the O-A-U, U-A-O on the page because according to Hilma af Klint, and I guess I would say she and her friends wrote down a language. I believe I'm trying to get my book to stay open for me. They wrote down their language. There's a glossary in the back of this book and symbols, and left notes to help us interpret all of these drawings that they did. Thank goodness, because how would we know otherwise? This is the 1900s. This is not normal at all. Early 1900s. So if they're trying to create a message for others to understand, thank goodness they left us a glossary. But did you need to all know all of that? I don't know. So O was representative of light in general. The A stood for forces in general. And the U was for spiritual forces of life. So it would be O-A-U, the light and the spiritual forces of life with an F, surrounding the forces in general, and they switch on the other side and create a balance. And if you're just joining, I have not, as I said, studied this book near as much as I want to yet, but I definitely want to commemorate this letter that I just read because of how much it touched me. And I mean, I will probably read it on many of my dark days for the rest of my life. It's so amazing to me that someone hundreds of years before what I'm going through, oops, I forgot to score this one, hopefully it'll stick down, hundreds of years before me, they came up with the words that I needed to hear. And I'm on a very strange spiritual path. What does that say about how strange their spiritual path was and how out of place they must have felt? But in a similar way, it's amazing that we both are just following intuition and divine guidance that we don't totally understand. So that's what I'm here to tell you to do as well. It can help you bloom or turn into that diamond that you always wanted to be. Pressure that I'm feeling now is because I'm finally starting to bloom. In the past, it was for less happy reasons. So I hope that whatever pressure you're feeling is for good reasons, and even when it feels like it's for bad ones, like to get a job that you don't want because you need money in your bank account, just stick with it. You do need that money in your bank account, and you might meet people at that job you don't want, which will help you get to the job that you do want. Everything is for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And even when you don't know why you're doing it, sometimes you just gotta do. So, yeah, I think I'm out of words of wisdom. Any questions about playing cards tarot? Manifesting? Intuition? Anything at all? I've been sharing lots of cryptic thoughts on Twitter lately, hoping to get some of you on my show asking me in person what's up. I'm not feeling as scholarly as normal right now. I don't know. Maybe I just need more coffee. It is a Monday. Maybe you're coming on this at a different time. Hopefully you just want to hear my voice rambling. I'm almost done with my little flower. Just hanging, hoping you'll be here to ask some questions. So many cards, so little time. And also many different ways to interpret. At least that is what I think. I was chatting with someone, I guess 2 days ago on Twitter about she's experimenting with manifesting on in poker, so she says, and she said that she feels the diamonds are luckier in her experience. And I said that I think it's entirely possible that we all experience intuition, tarot, manifesting a little bit different in each other, especially in poker, but also in life. Because I think it's, your divine guidance system with the divine. We're each different pieces of this puzzle. We're not exactly the same. We weren't intended to be exactly the same. So therefore, it's very possible, in my opinion, that the way the divine communicates with us is also likely similar, but different. So, yay, I'm happy with that for starting place. Need to smush it shut so that it will dry. And then I can add the lettering for, showing that we need to balance the power of forces in control of our life. With the letters that she used to represent it. Okay, I'm gonna stop torturing with rambling and just get one more, card of the day. Everything wants to pop out here. Okay. Sometimes I do take pop outs, but I'm just gonna take it as a thought and actually ask the deck. Awesome deck. What do we need to hear right now? What else do we need to know? All about the clubs. I cannot look through the camera correctly sometimes. Okay, this will be the card of the day tomorrow. Pomposity is the #1 keyword. So, aim for humility to balance out that energy is what I'm going to advise to start the day. Saying that to myself as well. Thanks so much for watching. Please do press like and subscribe and let me know if the card of the day spoke to you. If you would prefer this show at a different time of day, any any comments. Love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and have an awesome day.